The expectation is that Wednesday's scheduled games will now be played on Saturday. Thursday's games will be played on Sunday, and the league will resume tomorrow. Woj told us that right off the show, the top of the show this morning. Marc Spears is in the bubble for us, and the big fella Kendrick Perkins with us here as well. Marc, take us inside those conversations. How did players' sentiment inside the bubble shift from Wednesday night, when we thought that there felt like a really good chance that everything was going to get called off, to Thursday, where the decision was ultimately made to continue to play?
Well, actually, Doc Rivers had a quote last night to a television station in L.A. saying that a lot of the players thought the season was over. There was a lot of depression in the bubble that night, a lot of emotion. That meeting was very energetic. There was some anger there. There was some great questions there. But I think after they woke up, really thought about what was going on and calmed down, they didn't want to go. They worked too hard to get here. And I think also these players realize that there's so much that they've been able to get from the media in terms of having access to the world on a daily basis. You know, hey, LeBron, he got a billion, people following him. But now we're hearing from George Hill. Now we're hearing from Van Vliet. Now you're hearing from Doc Rivers, who during the pandemic, we didn't hear from him at all. So I think they're realizing that the strength they had, calmed down, had their meeting. And I swear that meeting must have been really, really quick, because it started, and the next thing I know, I seen these dudes going to lunch. And they look relaxed, and they voted to resume the season. And yesterday, actually, it seemed like for the first time in a while, there was a sense of calmness here, a sense of taking a deep breath, and also a reorganization that, all right, the players felt like the focus was going in the wrong direction. Let's refocus, and then also let's squeeze these owners for more.
Kendrick Perkins, I know, and I follow you. Obviously, we talk here all the time, and then I follow you on social media. So I know that in so many ways in your heart, you still feel like one of the guys. You still feel like one of the players. What are your thoughts on the way these last few days have gone and the way the players have handled it?
Well, I love it. I mean, in my opinion, when you look at the NBA players, I think they're using this bubble and this platform, and rightfully so. It's been huge for them. Like Marc Spears just said, a lot of guys don't have that big following like a LeBron James. So it's good to hear from guys like Fred VanVleet and George Hill. And when you think about it, Greeny, they have the power right now. They have a lot of power down there in that bubble. And I thought that if they would have walked away, they was going to give up a lot of that power. And I'm glad that those guys stuck with it, because for the simple fact, we hearing that powerful message after a big-time win from Doc Rivers. He didn't come and talk about the win in the basketball game. He came and gave us a heartfelt, a powerful speech. When you look at guys like Jamal Murray, who had a big night, after the game, he didn't talk about his historical night. He talked about what's going on in the world. And I think right now they have a huge platform, and they need to use it and maintain their power and just make sure that they be unified.
Yeah, unified is the big word here, unity. I know that Chris Paul, the leader of the union, has talked a lot about that. Marc, clearly Wednesday night, there was not a lot of unity amongst the players. There seemed to be a lot of disparity in what players thought and what they wanted to do. How would you describe the degree to which everyone is on the same page now?
I think that's the only way they can be going forward. Chris Paul talked about being unified. LeBron James talked about being unified. So did Andre Iguodala. And I think the Bucks, while everybody kind of understood what they did, and there was something going on in their state, the rest of the league should have been notified, and it should have been a collective decision. So I think going forward, if anything comes to this level again, I think we're going to see a group decision in the same hotel instead of one team making it themselves.
And Perk, I guess I'll finish with you here. Just as a player, as the games resume tomorrow, after all of the emotion that we have seen and the pause, brief though it may have been, how, if at all, do you expect the games to be impacted? As we all get set to start watching basketball again, how would you imagine this stuff will affect the players?
Well, I think they have done a great job, Green, of balancing the two. When you look at this, at the way that they've been competing between the lines, they have done a great job. I mean, it's been a Mamba mentality all in the bubble, some of the best basketball that we've seen in a long time for us being competitive. But then outside of that, I think when you look at guys' social media account, when you watch guys like Mark Spears report things and Woj and Malika Andrews, when they report things for as like, guys interacting outside the court, it's been a beautiful thing to see. So I think they'll continue to do what they've been doing, competing inside, in between the lines and being, friends and having great fellowship outside the court.
I agree. It really is a remarkable line they have walked between taking both sides of this as seriously as they can be taken. I think that's a really good point. Marc, Kendrick, thank you guys. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.